So you got more variety available.
Well, Scott's down here right now.
Okay.
If you want me to...
That'll work. We can trade out.
You want to blindside him into this?
Oh man, I wasn't like dressed for any like interviews.
Hey, I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. So.
How you doing?
Not too bad. My name's John Forsyth.
Nice to meet you. Scott Willis.
Scott, these guys are... he's out of Venice, and he's out of Texas, and they're YouTube guys. They have a YouTube model channel.
Oh, well, welcome to California. This is our crazy state.
You know, and they were just... they were wanting to be educated about our store, and then they were asking me about our model line, and I just thought maybe it'd be easier for you to maybe give them some of the questions they have on some of our product line that I might not be the expert on.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if I can help, no problem.
Okay.
You want to come on into the camera?
I got
just so you can get out of it.
Trying to hide out of that.
If we stand on our toes.
They might ask you some questions.
Right, yeah, should I lean down?
There we go. Bring up a stool. Okay, first question I have is licensing. How difficult is it to get a license?
Licensing is hard. You really kind of need an in to get your foot in the door, and then you got to say and do the right things to get it, to make it happen. And it's usually a tough back and forth with the requirements and the changes and the nitpicking and all that kind of stuff. So it can be challenging. That's why you don't see a lot of people get into it. And then the other aspect of it is just the money required, you know, the guarantees that are required when you sign a license.
Because they want so much return for their investment.
Yeah, and you have to guarantee X amount of money up front before you've even sold one piece. And you may not sell a piece for a couple of years, and yet they're getting all of their percentage based on what you projected you're selling.
Wow!
So it's a big investment. You pretty much want to be sure you have an A or B property to minimize your risk in potentially not having a great selling piece.
I can see that.
So there's a little bit of risk involved in that aspect of it.
So things like the dinosaur models back here, well, should be less of a risk, right?
Way less of a risk. There's no licensing fee. I mean, there's no family, the Rex family. We don't have to send anything to the Rex family. But and it's kind of a general subject matter, along with like we do some general like UFOs and rocket kits.
Right.
And,
I've built some of the rocket kits.
Oh, okay. Those are my designs. A lot of them, like I designed like the Mercury 9
Yep,
and the
I
Alpha
built that.
Centauris.
I'll have to show you a video of what I built
cool,
before we go.
Cool. So yeah, those are my original designs. But some of that stuff, since it's more of a general subject matter, you don't really have to license it, and yet it's a popular thing. You know, you're pretty safe doing aliens and dinosaurs and stuff. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Actually.
So the risk is less, although along with that, you don't have the property title attached to it. So that's where they get their money, is allowing you to use their name on your product. Because you can have the best robot in the world, but you put Terminator on it, and it's the Terminator robot.
It's going to sell a lot better.
There's a big difference there, yeah. So that's where they get you, and you can do some great designs, like we do. We do pretty good with our rockets and UFOs because it's general, but the big numbers are usually with the properties.
Of course, I've noticed a difference in the price between the UFOs and the rockets and the license price.
Right. Yeah, the license stuff is a bit more expensive just because we have a percentage we have to pay out.
Right.
And then they're more particular about production and the quality, so it takes longer, and approvals and and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of snowballs. But we've been fortunate with some really good licenses with War of the Worlds and Terminator 2 recently, and we've done Tarzan. We've done Tarzan and Galaxy Quest for all
I built one of those.
Yeah,
that one right back there.
For all the hyper nerders out there that know what that is. Right. But
With something like the old War of the Worlds or the Space Ark there, is that easier to get a license for because it is a 1950s kind of film or before licensing?
Not so much.
You're still dealing with the same people that still own the same license.
Yeah, you're still dealing with the huge companies. In this case, we deal with Paramount. And pretty much what they want is a big chunk to bring to their boss and say, okay, we got X amount of guys that want to license products. So a lot of our licenses are kind of combined to make it look like a little bigger fish when they present it to, you know, their higher ups into getting it passed. Because, you know, they don't want, you know, they're dealing with $100,000 contracts and stuff. And you just don't want, you can't come in with this one property and say, hey, you know, we want to give you a couple grand and, you know, let us use your name. And, you know, so we combine our stuff. You know, a lot of our contracts have 2 or 3 properties in them. The '05 War of the Worlds, the Spielberg War of the Worlds has, I believe, When Worlds Collide. Yeah, you know, that rocket. Right. That's involved in that contract, and like the War of the Worlds figures are in their own you know, that they're their own contract, and then we have like the Relic and Dragon Slayer and some of the monsters. They're kind of packed into theirs. And,
so makes some sense.
Then the other problem is they clean house like every couple months over there. They just have a whole. I just got an email saying there's a whole new group of people to deal with over there now. And what sucks is because a lot of times, you know, you build kind of a relationship with them, and you establish kind of the, you know,
this is the person I can talk to. This person I should
some
avoid.
are great, you know. Some have been fantastic. In fact, the first group we dealt with was very good and very accommodating, and they were kind of fledgling and starting their own consumer products at the time. And then they got axed, and then we got a whole new group in, and then that group, you know, the first thing they tell me is, well, we don't want you talking to any of the studios anymore, and we're gonna put approvals through the directors and all the way up to Spielberg and, you know, all this stuff, which never happened. And all it did was just bog down the whole process and just kind of created a nightmare. Then the approvals weren't happening, and then we're behind schedule, and it's just a domino effect. So it's been tough. It's one of those good and bad things with the licenses, you know.
Right, like that tank over there is very impressive.
The Terminator tank. Yeah, yeah. I actually did all the 3D modeling for that one and did the kit breakdown on that. So I was actually fortunate to get access to the original Hero tank at Fantasy 2. I contacted them, said, hey, we're interested in doing a kit. You know, is there any way, you know, you could get me any reference for that? And so they allowed me to come down, and I spent the day with the original tank. It's about 4 feet tall, about 8 feet long.
Nice.
And they had it stuck in the corner with buckets and, you know, dust and tarps on it. And I'm like, oh,
why would you do that?
It's like a priceless, you know, movie prop here, and it's, you know, just stuck in the. But to them, it's just another thing at work. You know, they build them, they film them, and they're done.
They put it on eBay. Yeah, exactly. They get a small fortune.
So I was able to pull it out. I cleaned it up, and I got out with my rulers and my video camera and spent about 3 or 4 hours just videoing, measuring the original prop. And then I came back here and basically
tried to recreate it.
Yeah, recreated it. So it's really, really accurate. The only differences are tooling issues. That, you know, some things you can't tool quite the same because you got limitations in the molding process and stuff like that. But it's extremely accurate piece, and we're real proud of it. One of our most impressive pieces that we have until we release this piece.
The Randy Cooper.
The Randy Cooper piece, which is going to be phenomenal.
Right.
300 plus pieces. It's got. It's going to have resin figures and photo etch and the gold
I was telling him, too bad you don't have it now, because that'd be going home with
me. Yeah, so we're super, super excited about doing that one, and that'll be our most impressive piece by far. Just in the quantity of parts and the tooling, the complexity, the multimedia aspect
good right
of it.
There.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And, you know, it's going to have full decal sheet, and you got interior, you know, control panel stuff, and
Well, on a piece like that, did you guys happen to come across Randy's work and pursue him? Or?
Yeah, actually I did. I came across Randy's website. Actually, I had bought some of his kits over the last few years. I bought one of his big tripod, War of the World guys. That was back when I was just a fan of it, let alone, you know, getting to do the model, which was really kind of cool after, you know, being a fan of the design. But I came across, you know, his website and started looking at his designs, and we were talking about doing a line of kits based off of just artist designs. And we thought, you know, hey, we could come out with an artist line of, you know, which we call our artist signature series of kits, which includes like our Nautilus model, which is a Greg DeSantis design.
Right.
The
Seeing
Nautilus
it
with
built,
the squid and stuff.
seeing it built versus the box is, you don't get an idea what that model's like when you look at the box.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a much better model.
Yeah, it's really in person. It's much more impressive, and you know, and it's got its photo etch, and it comes with a squid base, which I sculpted, by the way. But so that was kind of our start of our signature line. Mine was I got my Mercury 9 rocket. That was the Scott signature piece. But so then we thought, well, you know, let's do something that's really impressive if we're going to make a mark in the modeling industry, you know, and really take a piece of the pie from these guys. You got to make something that stands out and is kind of impressive to get the attention. Right. You know, all the other pieces, they'll kind of ride the coattails and, you know, take advantage of that piece that drew you to the booth or whatever it may be. And
well, that should do it.
Yeah. So Randy's piece is that's going to be a good one, and we're almost ready. We're almost in production on it. We're just, you know, getting the final sources for the wiring and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Wiring. It's going to have lights.
Well, actually, Voodoo Effects is doing a lighting kit for it.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're familiar with Randy Newbert there.
Yes.
Great guy.
I've purchased things from him before.
Yeah, so he does most of our lighting kits, and he's going to be doing a lighting kit for it. And in fact, I'm going to be sending him a test shot of it so he can start and hopefully have something available once the kit's released. You know, which is always nice. You know, instead of like after the fact, we're like, well, I already built mine. Now you have it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But so yeah, so we spread it out a bit with our subject matters. You know, we got our like great white and some of the dragon stuff.
Those dinosaurs look great in that case.
Yeah, the dinosaurs are really good. It's done by a sculptor in Mexico that we've used off and on. He sculpted the relic piece for us.
Okay.
He also did the Vermithrax Dragon Slayer dragon for us.
That one.
Yeah,
it looks good
so he
too.
did that. I had to fix it, by the way. I have to fix all their stuff, which I don't get credit for. But I'm just telling you now, that's how they end up that way. But
I've shied away from that Dragon Slayer kit because I'm afraid of painting it.
Yeah, you know, it's actually fairly forgiving. You know, I mean, things like that where they're kind of animals.
Well,
you get a lot
what's
of room
surprising
for
is
error.
I'm not afraid of the dinosaur kit, but I'm afraid of the Dragon Slayer, which doesn't make any sense.
Not
now,
so
does
much,
that?
not so
No,
much.
because the paint job on that dinosaur would be much more complex.
Yeah, well, actually, the guy that built those is a real big dinosaur enthusiast back east, and
I mean, you can tell the love is in
Shane,
there.
is it Shane Fawkes, I believe it is. I don't know if you're familiar with any of his stuff, but he's a phenomenal painter. And
Like I said, you can see the love in those kits.
yeah, there was definitely a lot of effort put into them and stuff. And this one was my design, the Spinosaur. And I sculpted the base and the fish and all that stuff. But these were kind of already done and offered to us if we were interested. They were resin kits from this guy, and he would say, hey, you know, you may be interested in doing the dinosaurs. I have a couple here that, you know, might fit right in with you guys. And so we pretty much just bought those outright, an existing resin kit.
Oh, that's nice.
And turned it into the vinyls, yeah. So
That's nice.
that was kind of cool. But
When you guys have pursued your film properties, Has there been anything that just you really want to do and fell through, or are there particular?
Yeah, there's been a lot. You know, actually, I actually approached. I believe it was Fox about the 2001 Space Odyssey license before we started this, because we were interested in doing some of the Kubrick models, and basically what I got back was a big nasty letter about how legally they'll you know, chew us up and spit us out. Thanks for your interest.
But then someone like Captain Cardboard or Time Slip, or there's one other guy, AJ Models, you can do garage kits of those.
Right.
Seemingly fun.
And mainly because they fly under the radar a bit with them.
Right.
You know, they're not doing big quantities, so I don't think some of the licensors go after them because they think, you know what, that's just, it's small potatoes, it's not worth our lawyers' cost to go after that. But once you start getting into injection kits, you know, you're looking at thousands of pieces.
Have them in hundreds of stores across the country.
And
that's a big difference.
you know, Frank at Mobius had re-released some Aurora pieces that were from the 2001 stuff, but he kind of snuck it in as an Aurora reissue and didn't really put 2001 on the box and some of these, you know, the little tricks you do because it wasn't new tooling. He kind of, you know, flew under the radar a little bit with that, but. We've looked at doing quite a bit. You know, we were looking at possibly getting like the Transformers license to do some of the the robots, but
they have one in Japan.
There's
a couple of companies make them in Japan.
But Paramount basically said that Hasbro handles 100% of the licensing of that, and then you have to go to them. We've approached Disney before about doing the original Nautilus design from the original film, and before they would even talk to us, they wanted like my family history and the history of every family that ever worked in this store, and you know, every financial, you know, how much you pay for gas this morning. I mean, it was unbelievable, the paperwork they sent back. They didn't even want to know what I was interested in, because that way we can't claim they took our idea, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And it was.
I heard Round 2 had trouble just trying to get the old Pirates of the Caribbean plastic.
Oh, I believe it.
Disney wouldn't talk to them at all.
Yeah.
That's Round 2. I mean,
and that's Round 2, and they're a very reputable company. So they can be tough, and so that's why you'll see most of ours are Paramount properties. We got our foot in the door, and we were able to deliver good product to them, and they were pleased with us. We were always late, but one of the things is, hey, they'll always forgive you if you're late, but they'll never forgive you if it's bad. You know, so if you take the time, if you're late, hey, that's one thing, but it better be good. And so we've been able to deliver for them, and it opened the door for these other properties. In fact, the Terminator stuff came through an agent that used to work at Paramount that I kind of kept in touch with, and she went to a different place and had new contacts and came back and said, hey, would you be interested in, you know, Terminator? And that, you know, Tarzan kind of came around the same way, and, you know, so you build these little cliques, you know, with these people, but, you know, when they leave, it's a big hit, you know, it's a big hit to us, because, you know, my approvals, you know, take forever, and
just having to build all that groundwork again must be terrible.
And then convince them that we're worthy to, you know, to take on these properties and put their name on our box, and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So,
I got a question for you. Anything coming in the future you can talk about? Because I'm sure there's things coming you can't talk about.
Yeah, well,
as the boss looks on.
well potentially, I mean, the safe stuff, the safe bet is going to be probably a few more dinosaur pieces, some popular ones that, you know, probably need to be done. And then we're looking at probably some more alien UFO stuff.
Some more airplanes.
Yeah, probably some more snap together airplanes. We have a good extensive line of more beginner, intermediate, snap-together airplanes outside of the sci-fi line. We actually have a full line of tank models and little figures and, you know, like all this kind of stuff in the case there. And then we also have a full line of model car accessory rims and speakers and
Didn't know about
all
the
that
speakers.
kind of little pumps and all that kind of stuff. So that's really kind of where the whole thing started, was back with the model
Right.
car rims, and it just kind of, you know, escalated into the tanks, and then when I kind of got involved in it is where the sci-fi element kind of really took in.
Right. Both of our channels are basically sci-fi.
Okay. And the first one that really started it was the my Apollo 27 rocket. That was really our first stab into the sci-fi line, and it actually won Model Kit of the Year from the German Farfignugen, or whatever they call that.
Model fan.
Wow.
And it was really kind of the launching point that, you know, has led to things like this Terminator and the hoppers and stuff. We had real good success with that, and then I did a couple like UFO designs, and those were good. And then we bagged the War of the Worlds license was our first real big get, and you know, something that hadn't been licensed in 40 years. I mean, no one had that, you know, and for us to get it was a real big, you know, big feather in our cap, and that kind of put us on the map, you know, was the War of the Worlds stuff. And then once that kind of came into the deal, everything else kind of followed it, you know. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, well, I'll take some rockets and UFOs, you know, because they call about the property, you know, War of the Worlds or Terminator, and then, hey, yeah, throw some of these other things in with it. You know, so they all help each other, you know. Someone that's interested in a rocket might not know we did, you know, the other stuff, and it kind of exposes them to, you know, to that.
That's kind of what Paramount does to you guys, right? Take this movie and we'll give you this other movie.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
You want this rocket? We'll give you this rocket.
We ask
And a
about one
dinosaur.
thing, and they go, well, we might, but if you want to do this one too, you know, and
Just trying to build their number up.
yeah,
Right, because they want to make money.
yeah, and they want to be able to pitch their boss with bigger numbers, you know, and
Do you
all
ever
that
think
kind of stuff.
their model end of the business is going to get really big? I know you're trying to get it there.
for us, it has the potential of being a big, you know,
Right.
a big part of the business here. But, you know, we still struggle with getting our product into all the channels and getting the promotion and the advertising aspect of it
Right.
out there. You know, a lot of times you take for granted that people know about you, but people really don't, you know.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Well,
about.
he lives in Venice, and he didn't know about us.
Okay.
I didn't know you guys were here. I've seen Pegasus models here and there, like at Kickcraft,
Okay,
but I
sure.
didn't realize you guys were here.
Okay, that we're actually located here.
Yeah. Nor
I know.
that you guys were actually the ones
I don't
that
even
produced
live in the
those.
States.
Oh, and that's another thing. People don't associate our product line with the store.
right.
A lot of people are surprised that, you know, we actually have a full line of model kits
Right.
that we develop, you know, as a side business to the store.
Right.
So, you know, it's a constant struggle of trying to get enough promotion and enough marketing and enough exposure, you know, to pay for that with the product and stuff. So, you know, we've got a lot of great product. We just kind of still need to pursue the promotional aspects of it.
I know
to
how
grow,
that is. I have a
you
small
know.
business, and advertising is an art form. There is no rhyme or reason to it at times to me.
No, and it goes in ebb and flows, and it depends on what it is too. You know, nothing. They're not all apples. You know,
Right. Your
things can be
competitor gets
completely
there 10
different.
seconds before you, all of a sudden your sales go down.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be frustrating.
Yeah, but you got to do it. Otherwise,
do.
you don't exist. You know, if people don't know you have your stuff, I don't care how great it is. You know, it could be the best product in the world. If they don't know you make it, you aren't selling it. You know,
Right.
They're not buying it.
Like, I knew that tank was out, but seeing it in the case
Yeah,
just makes you go, whoa, look at that thing.
Yeah, well, it's a lot bigger than people realize it
yeah.
was going to be. Yeah, and we
Yeah,
actually
it
have a
is.
set of. I just finished a set of endoskeletons in scale with the two.
Nice.
So you're going to get a set of five 5 posable endoskeletons, so they're all pieced out, so you can build them in different poses. And it's got a nice little base and
Skulls.
skulls on the base. No separate skulls; they're kind of molded into the base.
Yeah.
But actually, initially there was supposed to be a separate skull that came on the tree, but the tooling was too expensive for what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth the cost and the increase of the tool. But it's a pretty cool set. It's like right on the verge, and it comes with 5 Terminators, and they'll be in scale with the other kits. And we'll be offering a plated version of it as well. So,
Nice.
in fact, that's what I believe.
that
That's
is.
a plated one there.
We offer them plated in a special edition and non-painted. Plated.
No, actually, that's painted.
Yeah,
that's
I was
all
going to
clad.
say that was
Yeah.
painted all clads. I could
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah, those are all clads, but
And the unpainted version's down at the bottom of the case.
yeah, that's some of the first test shots. Actually, production is it's in a kind of a neutral gray color,
Okay.
but when you're dealing with test shots and changes and stuff like that, you get whatever color they have in the machine. I get pink and fluorescent orange. I mean, I got fluorescent orange dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, like
Oh,
the
send
dragon
those to
in it.
my girl, please.
Yeah. Yeah, no, huh? So
Yeah, and I know about the plated, unplated. You've got one plated there and one unplated in the
yeah,
back.
yeah, exactly. And some of them are offered as a pre-finished,
Right.
as well as a kit. Like those, we offer a plated kit, the unplated kit, and then the kind of the built and finished, product for the people
Right.
that don't really build and.
They just want the thing.
Yeah,
on
they
their
want to
desk.
display. They want it a little easier to just kind of take it out of the box and set it on your desk,
Right.
versus committing to, building a model.
Yeah, I've got some friends who are like that. They want fighter planes from World War II, but they don't want to build them.
Yeah, so there's this almost like a separate market for those crowds. They overlap a little bit, but a lot of times it's very polarized
Yeah.
crowd. You have people
Kinda
that
makes sense.
build, and then you got
Yeah.
people that collect and display.
Right.
And
And you got the collecting displayers who pay the people to build.
that's right. Yeah, you got those guys. But it kind of helps to offer like these finished versions, because it's the same tooling that you've already invested in. You maybe have to do some new box art and some things like that to do a new package for the product, but you're kind of benefiting, from that same production
Right.
pipeline.
You get some
to
extra
make
dollars
another,
out.
to make another item or two out of it. So it just
Gotcha.
kind of helps,
Gotcha. Are we still all on camera?
Yeah.
All right. You got any more questions, Tom?
No, it's been great to talk to you guys.
Yeah,
It's been
you
Yeah,
guys
a
have
while.
been very good.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. Nice to meet you guys. And